Wake up early every day and think about you. Wake up early and I feel your grace, I feel it all. I found love, this is enough, I won't let go.
The Wisdom and Opinion Show.
I'm just the butt of the jokes.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Wisdom and Opinion Show. Once again, it's me, your man, Prophet Josiah, here again with the infamous
To be back in the building with y'all, where we give wisdom from God
and opinions from us. We had a lot of mistakes last week, so we really trying to make sure we get it right this time.
Absolutely.
I'm editing out all the mistakes because y'all don't need to see that, except for the, I don't know, maybe I'll keep my mistakes in there because I don't want anybody to think they're the butt of the jokes. So, but anyways, so today we have a great topic. We're talking about friendships. Everybody has friends, right? Or so you think, or do you really? Are they just acquaintances? Are they friends? Are they associates? You know what I'm saying? Like when I grew up, my grandmother, I think, would tell me, listen, don't call everybody your friend. Everybody's not your friend.
Right.
That's an associate. That's, you know what I'm saying? Your friends actually do this and do this and do that. And so today we just want to talk about it, chop it up. Friendships are important, right?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, like when you were talking, it made me think of how acquaintances, what's the difference between acquaintance and an actual friend? Right. Because you got a lot of people out here who call everybody their friend, but they don't fit the criteria of what a friend actually is, which I believe we're going to get into too. What is a friend? But yes, friendships are definitely important. I know for me, as the years went on, I too, because my mother would tell me that, like, don't call everybody your friend because everybody ain't your friend.
Right.
And not only that, but she would say, like, people don't know me, like they know of me, but they don't know me. And I started kind of adopting that phrase, like they don't know me, they know of me, but they don't know me because there's a difference. Right. And so even with acquaintances, there's a difference between an acquaintance and a friend or an associate. Somebody I associate with, I say, we're cordial and a friend. So that friendships are definitely, we cordial. It's a real topic though. we cordial. So definitely friendships are important. I learned that, for those of you all who don't know, and maybe some people watching who don't know, but my grandfather just passed a few days ago. And he was in the hospital in Boston, which is a little bit of a ways from where I live. So my other grandfather and my grandfather that passed were best friends. And they went out every day. They went to the same restaurant like every day. Like they would ride around. It was dope to see. But I didn't really realize the benefit of friendship until my grandfather, again, he was like in Boston, which was a distance, and he can't drive anymore. So he hadn't seen my grandfather since he had went in the hospital, and he was like really trying to see him. So I brought him, when they moved my other grandfather up here, I brought him my grandfather from my father's side to see him. And they see each other. Once they see each other, they're like, I can't really explain it. He said, man, right. He was like, man, I thought you was going to let me die in here and not see me. He was like, nah, man, I would never do that, man. We friends. I would never do that. And I got to see that bond like I've never experienced it before. So it really had me to see friendship even on a whole nother level.
Yeah. So why do you think friendship is important though? I mean, like say your other grandfather never had a chance to get up there. How do you think the grandfather from the other side would have felt?
I think it would have lived with him. Like he would have took it a lot harder if he didn't get to see him, if he didn't get to goodbye, if he didn't get to, tell him like, yo, I just appreciate you for being my friend and being there for me, in the times where it was needed. I'm even in going through this ordeal, I'm noticing how, there are people, even like you, who are stepping up and like, yo, just like, yo, you all right, man? You good? We don't live in the same state. So it's not like you can drive here. Right. But everybody doesn't need that. Sometimes you just need some concern. You just need to know that someone is concerned or whatever. And it's like, for me, quite honestly, some of the people who I thought would show concern haven't really shown concern. But then other people who I'm surprised and amazed that they're showing concern have. So for me, I feel like friendship is important because you never know. You could be going through something like that where you need a friend, where you may need someone to talk to. There could be situations where you just need someone to talk to. You need someone to vent to. You need somebody to tell you about you. Because a real friend will keep it real with you. And if you're wrong, they'll let you know, like, yo, you wrong. Or like my friend Stan, I don't agree with that.
Sometimes you got to agree to disagree with your man or your friend.
Hey, that's what it is.
You know what? While you were talking, I just looked up the definition of friend just so that we can start somewhere, right? So this is the internet definition. It says a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive, of sexual or family relations. And then it gives an example. She's a friend of mine. The second definition says a member of a religious society of friends, a Quaker. And then informal, add someone to a list of contacts associated with a social networking website. I am friended by 29 people who have not friended me back. And that's a really interesting thing. I think social media has changed how we look at friends. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that's on your social media is quote unquote your friend. I have this many friends, and you can feel some kind of way. Somebody hearted my picture. They liked my picture, or they left me a comment. All these people told me happy birthday. Now, Facebook tells you when it's one of your friends' birthday, right? So I just think this is interesting. Everybody gets excited when people say happy birthday. Even myself. I went on my page and people went, oh, happy birthday, happy birthday. Now I know for a fact you don't care about me. Facebook told you it was my birthday and you said, oh, it's his birthday. I'm going to say happy birthday. Even though I know that mentally, there's some people that actually care about me, right? But there's some people, they just saw the thing and they wrote happy birthday. Either way, it's just something about seeing that response. Like they took the time to write happy birthday on my page. I felt some kind of way positively, like, oh, this is dope. Somebody said happy birthday. But I know all these people are not really my friend. I can't call these people when I'm in need or, you know what I'm saying, whatever have you. These people are just good for saying happy birthday and liking a picture. And I think when it comes to friendships, you have to be able to understand what type of friend different people are. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to be your best friend. Everybody's not going to be a close friend. You might have the one friend that you talk to twice a year, another friend you talk to every day, another friend you talk to every 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. You don't try to force friendships, because when you force a friendship, it gets weird and awkward and dumb. And it's just like, yo, I mean, like, why are you trying to make me like you? Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You a cool person? Cool, but like, stop calling me. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I mean, do you have any
yo, listen, man.
Of like
when you was talking though, yes, I do have a story of an awkward friendship, but when you were talking, it reminded me of MySpace, because MySpace was the original joint that had people in their feelings about friends.
Oh yeah, because you had the top 8. You had the top 8 people, and people was like, "Yo, why I'm not in your top 8?"
Right. I mean, and people would be dead serious with it, like, "Oh, word!" Like, and then like, if you had a problem with somebody, you move them out the top 8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Like that's how you would find you wasn't as good as friends as what you thought.
You're not in my top 8 no more. So.
You're not right. You're not up there no more. You be like, and people were really, yo, can you believe that? I mean, women was getting into fights over it, like all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow, so, I didn't know people was getting into fisticuffs.
Yeah, people would get, yo, listen, they were taking that serious. So MySpace was the original starter of that, and now Facebook and all these other things, you know, they've done what they did, but
right,
MySpace, you know what I mean? And yes, I don't know about an awkward friendship. I can, however, tell you, and I said I wasn't going to put it.
I remember this. I just thought about it. You might not want to say it. Maybe you could say somebody you know.
Right. No, I would say it. And if that person watching, then they watch it. I said I wasn't going to say it, but whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm chilling. I get a Facebook request from somebody, and you know, the request is like, hey, you know, how's it going? I'm like,
is it a guy or a girl?
It's a guy. So initially, when I get the request or whatever, then I saw we had some mutual friends or whatever, so I accepted it. Then I didn't think anything more about it. Most people, you know, they'll do a little bit of background checking and then they don't care anymore.
Right.
So I kind of was like, okay, I accepted it. I didn't think anything more about it. Maybe a day or so later, I get a message like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, pretty good.
I don't know you, son. I just added you so you can see me and my wife chilling. I ain't want to have conversations with you, bro.
I'm like, pretty good, you know what I mean? So then next thing you know, it's just like, yeah, man. So, hey, I'm new to the area and, you know, just thought I'd let you know. I was like, okay, like, cool. Like, so then the person's like,
wait, hang on. Is that what you said to them, or is that just what you thought to yourself and you didn't respond?
No, I literally was trying to give like 1-word answers.
Okay.
Or like at the most like 2 or 3, so as to not continue the conversation. Yeah. But it just continued to happen. Like, and not that I was dissing homie, it's just that I didn't know.
Right.
So it was, you know, I mean, and that's just that. So next thing I know, it's just like, hey, I'm from another state. Have you ever heard of a missionary before? Because that's what I am. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not. Like, they didn't get the 1-word answer. They didn't get the 1-word answer. So that's when he got the blocker. You blocked them after that? I was like, oh, nah, we ain't doing this. Like, we ain't doing this. So yeah, that's awkward for sure.
That's funny. I'm trying to think if I had any awkward friendships. I have had that though, you know what I'm saying, where people send you messages and it's like they jump. It feels like you met somebody on the street and then they just start telling you their life story. It's like mad weird. It's like, hey man, what's up? Coolin', like, what's up? And it's just like, yeah, so my kids, my wife, some intimate story that I really shouldn't know. You don't know me like that to be telling me intimate stories like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, yo, like, yeah, I'm not responding to this because it's just going to allow you to think I'm interested and you're going to keep sending messages.
Yo, I will say this. It's somebody who like I'm cool with, but you wouldn't think that like, because of how our lifestyles are that we would be cool. Because he's like a real like introverted person, like extremely introverted. And he's never been married before. He doesn't have any kids. He doesn't even have a car. Like his whole life, like your face.
When you say you don't have a car, now I'm like, is he an adult?
The look on your face was priceless. Like, yeah, he is an adult. I think he's like almost 50, actually.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, he's like almost 50. And he's just always been, we worked together like maybe 20 years ago at Blockbuster.
Oh, okay.
So like we had worked together, and like he's actually a cool dude, but he's just not. He just he hasn't done a lot of things that most people have done, or he doesn't. I guess I'll say he doesn't esteem that like how as high as what most people esteem it.
Okay.
And so, but I mean, we've always been cool in terms of, being cordial and things like that. So it definitely, I think that there are times when people, as a matter of fact, that's something I do want to say, right? Do you think that friendship has to be on the same level? Like we're only friends if you're buying me something and I'm buying you something, or if you're calling or I'm calling, or if you're doing something for me, I got to do something for you. Or is there ever like friendships that, you understand what I'm trying to say?
I do. I think it becomes difficult because, how do you know if this person is really your friend or not? You know what I'm saying? I had parents and family members that said, "Oh, this person's not really your friend," and then you're thinking to yourself as a kid, like, "How do I know if they're really my friend?" You know what I'm saying? If you're telling me everybody's not my friend, well, what's the giveaway? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I know this person is my friend or not? You say I had like these two best friends, right? I mean, they were brothers, and at like one age, I was really good friends with one brother. And then at a different age, I was really good friends with the other brother. And I remember one time, they both used to come to my house, used to play Nintendo and stuff like that. And I remember one time they was telling me a story about how their dad told them that I wasn't really their friend. And it was just like this running joke. Like they came over and it was like, yo, our dad said you're not really our friend. And we just all busted out laughing. And then he was like, yeah, he's just using you to play your video games. I was like, you lying. He didn't really say that. He said, yeah, he really said that. He really said you're just using us to play our video games. And then we all made the face like, well, we all got the same games. Like, and it's just really interesting. Obviously, your parents are looking out for your kids. You want to make sure they're not being used, or, you know what I'm saying, they're not being, like taken advantage of. And, I think I'm getting away from what you asked me. What did you ask me?
I asked you, does everything have to be on an equal playing field in order for you to be friends?
Yeah, I think there has to be some kind of mutual understanding that will probably come with time. I think initially everybody's trying to guess, like, how many times did I call? How many times, am I doing too much? I don't want to seem like I'm bothering somebody. I don't want to be annoying. And so you might only call once or twice to see if they call you back, or you only might send one or two messages to see if they send some messages back. If they don't send them back, then you're trying to figure out, do they like me? Do they not like me? As a friend, you know what I'm saying? Not even on some, not even on some intimate relationship stuff, but just on some, I'm trying to create a bond with someone and you kind of want to tiptoe into it. Now, like we talked about this before, how we first met. And it's kind of like, I think it's important. And it kind of leads to another question, like, how do you make friends with someone? Let's say I don't have friends and I'm trying to make friends. What do I do? How do I go about making a friend?
You got to put yourself out there, because even the Bible said that he who wants friends must show himself friendly. So you have to be willing to, I think, put yourself out there in order to make or establish a friendship. And, you can't, if you think it in your mind, like, oh, I'm not going to do this because they're going to do that, and you're over analytical, then you probably won't ever have any friends if that's the case. But, I think you got to, you got to put it out there that that's what you're trying to do.
But how do you do that? But how do you do that without being weird? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't have friends, right? Which me personally, I don't really have a lot of friends. I could count them on one hand, right?
Right.
And so, and I'm not a super outgoing person. I'm a very kind of like introverted. You know what I'm saying? I become more outgoing with people that I know more. You know what I'm saying? So like when I first meet somebody, I'm just kind of chill. And then the more we get to know each other, I start exposing more of who I really am. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what I found is that it's weird to walk up to somebody of the same sex and be like, let's be friends. Like, I mean, when you're a kid, you're 5 or 6 years old, you're saying, yo, my son has been doing this since he's like 3. He goes to a playground, his kid's on the playground, he will walk up to any kid and be like, yo, you wanna race? You wanna do this thing? And the kid is like, yo, let's go. And they would be racing and playing, and they would be there for an hour having a good time. And when we leave, they looking at each other like, yo, this is my friend. I made a new friend today and I'm never going to see them again. But yo, this is my friend. And like, but as you become an adult, that's weird behavior to walk up to somebody you don't know that's the same sex and be like, hey, so they looking at you like, what's wrong with you?
But I don't think anybody, I won't say anybody, but I don't think that's how it goes necessarily. I think when you get older, it's more so like, you know, kind of like with us, like it's like a conversation. Somebody might say something, you might respond, and then it kind of builds over time, I think. Right. Or you might even be like, even if it's at your church or something like that, you might be like, yo, you went to such and such. Yo, we should hang out and do, you know what I mean? Or whatever, or watch the game or something like that. And then I think things kind of take off from there. But I don't think, you know, that I think it would be weird if some dude came up to me like, yo, just looking like, yo, let's be friends, yo. Like, I would be mad weirded out. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'd be mad weirded out. Like, what's your angle, yo? Like,
definitely as an adult. So like, okay, so let's give some advice now, right? Let's get some godly advice. Okay. Check this out. You're an adult. You don't have a lot of friends. How can you make friends? Find people that are in places where you be at. Like you said this before, you know what I'm saying? You go to church, you go to work, which work is kind of like a different thing. People don't like to make friends at work sometimes. So
generally not. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is where I come to get paid and that's it. We ain't trying to be cool here. But you know what I'm saying? Wherever you are, usually try to make friends there. Make friends sometimes off of other people's friends. You know what I'm saying? You got one friend, they introduce you to somebody else. Hey, this is my man, Stan. Stan, this is so-and-so. Whoop-de-wop. You know what? He likes to bowl too. You know what? He makes music too. Oh, word, you make music? Now we got a conversation because we have a common interest. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, a lot of people are on social media. And so I think the best way to make friends on social media, if it's not like an opposite sex relationship, is probably to join in conversations that might be had about a specific topic, or join a group where they're talking about a specific thing and you can kind of go back and forth. But I would say, same thing I said before. You just got to pace yourself. You want to move really, really slow so you don't seem like the weirdo. If you don't have friends, you don't want to say, I don't have friends, because it makes you look weird. Like, oh, so you want me to be your friend? Like, there's probably a reason you don't have friends.
Nah, I will say to the question that I asked you though, the reason why I did ask that question is because sometimes, you know, friendships are subjective to the people who are friends. And so sometimes you could have a person that got a lot of money. You can have a person that got a little money and they're friends. Right. And I know, like, I was in a situation before where I was friends with somebody who could like pay for us to do things. And I wanted to reciprocate, but I just wasn't in the financial place at that time to do it. And I remember feeling bad about the situation. And I talked to him about it, like, yo, like, it's not even like that. And it was like, see, but that's the thing. The thing is that I'm giving you what you don't have and you're giving me what I don't have. Because the advice and the time I was spent and being there for them is what they didn't have. And to them, that was more priceless than the money they were giving me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like that. That's
good. And that just actually brought me to another thing I was just thinking about, is that providing value. You know what I'm saying? We talk about providing value to like customers and, you know what I'm saying, providing value at work and stuff like that. But if you want a friend, provide value to them. Obviously, you don't want to feel like you're buying a friend, but like if I know that you need something and I know how to do it, it's a great segue to start some kind of relationship. You know what I'm saying? I've had people say, well, look, you know what I'm saying? I know you looking for this or for that. I have that. You could just have it. I'm like, okay, how much you want me to pay you? Oh, you don't got to pay me for that. You could just have it.
Yep.
And I'm like, wow. So you just gonna get that to me? Yeah. I mean, you can have it. And by default, whenever somebody gives you something, on the inside, you want to reciprocate. If you're like a normal human being, you know what I'm saying? You're like, yo, he just gave me this. What can I do for them? Because I don't, you know. And so that's a good way to start things off. I wouldn't suggest you giving people money because that's kind of weird. But I don't know, like you said, giving them a conversation, being like a listening ear for them, letting them vent to you. All those things are providing value. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you feel like, oh, this person actually cares about me. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what everybody's looking for, is like you're looking for somebody that actually cares about you and they want to listen to you and they value your opinion. They value what you think. Now let's take this to the other thing, which I know a lot of people say this. Do you feel that men and women can be platonic friends?
All right. Now this is the part of the episode I was waiting for. I feel like men and women can be platonic friends. I do. But I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And it does. And you know this. I feel like the only reason, the majority of the reason why men and women are platonic friends is because somebody didn't like somebody. Period. Either somebody didn't like somebody or they tried it and it didn't work. And then they said, we'll be better off friends. Right. But that's it.
Yo, I just saw something on Twitter today that said this same exact thing. It was all these women and they was in a group and they said, they asked the same question, right? And the girl said, it's not possible. She just said, it's not possible. She said, I've only had 2 male friends that didn't try to hit on me. And she said, I think they wanted to hit on me, but out of respect, they just didn't. But she said, I think they wanted to though, which is, right. She said, which is basically the same thing. She was like, you want me, but either you're too scared to say something to me or you get the fact that I don't like you. So you're not even going to try. And, but I've heard other people say, no, of course, men and women can be friends. And I agree with you. I mean, you can, but, somebody gonna catch feelings at some point. If somebody likes the other person or somebody finds the other person physically attractive, it's gonna be hard to just be friends because you want them, like in a different kind of way.
Listen, man, real talk. Back when I was in high school, I'll never forget this. I was in high school and I was at that time like best friends with all like the baddest chicks. Uh-huh. And it was like bothering me because the reason why I liked them was because I could be me. Like they knew what I was doing. They knew like if I was doing dirt, they knew it. Like they knew about all of that. I could just be my authentic self. Uh-huh. And so after a while, the fact that I could just be me and I didn't have to front and I didn't have to play no games would make me like them. But then they would be telling me, like, oh, well, you know what?
Not feeling you.
I don't want to. No, they would say, I don't want to pursue it because if it doesn't work out, it's going to ruin the friendship. And I'd rather have a friendship. Like, and so I remember I was dejected about it. So I shouldn't have done this, Dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but it's real.
Wow. So we know what this is about.
Right.
Oh, who?
So I shouldn't have done it, right? But I go to my father. So I go to my father. I'm like, yo, Dad, man.
He said I shouldn't have. Dude. Go ahead. I won't even interrupt. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm like, yo, Dad, man. Yo, this is a scenario. I break down that whole scenario I just told y'all Facebook and YouTube. Break down the whole scenario, right? Next thing you know, this cat was like, you know what, son? They think you're ugly.
He kept it all the way real. Well, yo, first of all, if you're watching this and you haven't done this already, make sure you like, share,
and subscribe. Yes, please.
Comment, subscribe.
Please,
I usually wait to the end, but I'm trying to do it like in the middle. So yo, he just straight up say, yo, I'm sorry, son. You're not attractive.
That literally, this is what he said. He's like, yo, son, I'm sorry, man, but they just think you're ugly. And that's just a nice way of saying you ugly. I'm like, oh snap! Like, so
did you believe him or did you say, nah, you don't know what you're talking about?
So initially I didn't believe him, but then like it kind of like, nah, son, it's just they think you ugly. Nah, son, it's just they think you ugly.
Like, followed you around for how many years?
It was like Linus's blanket. Like it was going everywhere with me. Wow. So it was like, but it was only like a day, and I found myself like, dang, do they really think I'm ugly? You know, that's when you're in high school, you got pimples or whatever, so you kind of look at like, oh, maybe it's like, you know what I mean? So you just don't know.
It's mad chicks right now watching this video like, he's right. It's mad chicks in the video. I can guarantee you, it's a bunch of chicks that's like, yeah, I say that to dudes I think is ugly too.
Oh my gosh. So
that's crazy. Cause I know they do that, man. They do. Cause chicks are like really big on like not hurting people's feelings. And I'm just like, yo, if you don't like me, just say you don't like me. But you know,
I do believe that, but hold on. But then I take it the next day or whatever, I bring it to my mother. I'm like, listen, she said, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I explained the story.
I was ugly.
I told Dad, he said I was ugly. So I mean, so she was just like, oh my gosh, you would think he would know more about women, right? And so I'm like, yeah, man, like, you know, like, so she tells me, she said, actually what it is she said, when girls are that age, they don't or can't appreciate the fact that eventually what they'll be looking for to marry is their best friend. So that's what she said. So she said, so when they say that, like they really don't want to lose their best friend because that's the part that they're valuing. They don't understand that that's what you want in a person when you know what I mean, eventually get married.
That's fine.
Pardon the interruption. But if you like what you saw so far,
make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their mama to tune in right now. This is your chance. Right now. Hit the bell right now.
Back to the show.
And I took that. It was like,
yeah,
mom, like, yeah, I'm back up. I'm back up. You know what I'm saying? I'm back up. But I always from that point on, I always took that she said. And then when I later on in life, I found out that was actually true.
It is true.
So, you know what I mean? Facts right there. True story for y'all.
So yo, I have a couple stories. So one is, well, I guess more so a statement. Men, right, only want chicks if they're fly. Like, yo, this chick, she gonna be with me. She gotta look good, right? Yeah. Men don't be like, yo, she's a good friend. I want to get with her. Like, that's not what happens. Women, on the other hand, not all of them, but some women are just like, I mean, your looks is like secondary. Like, I value the friendship. Like you said, like, yo, I value the friendship more. I just think that's interesting that men just be looking out for the fly chick. And girls are just like, yeah, his personality's dope. But yo, here's another story. I remember being in high school And I was talking to this girl, and I'm thinking she digging me. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah, let's go do this. Let's go do that. She tried to get me to buy her stuff. She was just like, yo, why don't you know what I'm saying? You should buy me this or you should buy me that. And I was thinking like, I'm not buying you anything. Like, I'm not that kind of dude. I don't buy chick stuff just you know what I'm saying, so you like me. Like, that's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking to myself. I just said, oh, okay. All right. And then, you know, as we keep talking or whatever, as we fast forward maybe like a couple weeks, I think I asked her just like point blank. I just was like, yo, you know what I'm saying, how do you see me? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think we could get together? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's really good or whatever. We were talking a couple of weeks, like, yo. And she was just like, well, I just see you as a friend. And she said it like super hard, like for a friend, you know what I'm saying? And I just was like, oh, okay. But you know, 2 weeks ago, you wanted me to take you to the mall and go buy you stuff. That's why I didn't do it. You know, because I'm not stupid. You're trying to play me. And it's just really interesting that, you know, how different people see friendships, how different people try to, you know what I'm saying? Like in that scenario, she was trying to get her value, you know what I'm saying, without even really giving me anything. And I'm not talking about a sexual way. I just mean like, yo, like you want me to buy you stuff because you think I'm so into you that, you know what I'm saying, that I'll just do anything. And it's like, I think that's a bad position to be in, whether you're talking to a woman or you're talking to a platonic friend or whatever. It's a bad position to be in if you smell or you look desperate. People are like, oh, you desperate for friends and you got money? I'll be your friend. Yo, let's go to the movies. You're saying, let's go do this. Let's go do that. You find yourself always paying for everything. That person's probably not really your friend. They are using you. That's the thing that our parents always try to warn us about. Don't allow people to use you. And I think that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And to be aware of that is to kind of move slow. Keep your hand on your pocket or your wallet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And see if people are really into you for you. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. If you find yourself having to do things that you don't like to do, you find yourself having to behave or talk a certain way that you don't normally talk and behave, you only do that around them because you think that they will like you better if you do that, it's probably not a good friend. Because you should be able to be yourself. You should be able to, you know what I'm saying, with your weirdness, with your quirkiness, with your favorite laugh, you know what I'm saying, whatever you like to do, if they accept you like that, then that's somebody you should probably value, you know?
Absolutely. And I would also say, watch out for the people that only want to be your friend when you're down. Because you got some people like that. Like it's almost like they feel like they lord over you, so to speak. Like when you're down, like they're always there. They're like, yo, man, you know what I mean? Like, that's what friends are for, man. I can help you out. I can do this. You know what I mean? I'll tell you this, man. I remember when it was me, it was like, you know, da 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 da. But that ain't me no more. It's you. You know what I mean? So it's like
I remember when I was in the same spot you was in. Man, it's tough, ain't it?
It's some people like that, though.
Yeah, because they just like being the helpful person.
That. Right. It's some people like that. They're kind of, you know what I mean? But then, you know, when you get up, then they know where to be found. It's like they know where to be found. They don't want to celebrate you when you're up, but they do. But they want to talk about you or try to help you, you know, so to speak, when you're down. Like they want you to be down so that they can always feel above you. Wow. So you gotta watch out for them because they out there.
Yeah, and you know what? You gotta watch out for people too that they're always down, so they want you to be down with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a friend like that too, where they were kind of always in a depressed, like life is whack type of mode. And so when I was depressed and life was whack for me too, we was getting along great. Like, oh man, this is crazy. I can't pay my bill. I can't pay my bills either. Man, life is crazy. I just lost my job. I just lost my job too. Man, this is crazy. But then a couple months go by. Now I got a job. Life's not whack to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? My situation's getting better. Now they can't relate anymore and they don't want to talk to me now. Or they mad. It's like, oh man, you got a good job. Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? God, you know what I'm saying? God bless me to get a good job. He bless you to get a good job too. Wow. I don't never get this. You know what I'm saying? That'll never work for me. I mean, school's working for you. It'll never work for me. So, you know what I'm saying? Now they don't want to talk to you. But like last month, I was talking to you every day about how whack my situation was, and you was good with it. We had a 2-hour conversation about how whack life was, and we both was in it. But now that I'm out of it and I'm trying to bring you up, you want to stay down. And so it's like, you definitely want to be around people that can encourage you and lift you up.
Right.
Something else I think you should be wary of too is people that demand that you do something for them. Like I see this a lot on social media where people make these weird blanket statements. If you look at your phone and you see that this person, they don't never call you. When's the last time they called you? If they ain't called you in the last, 2 weeks to see if you up, they not really your friend. And it's just like, who are you, first of all, to tell me who's really a good friend of mine or not? I got a friend, where I talk to this dude once or twice a year. But every time I talk to him, it's like we picked up right where we left off. There's no love lost. There's no weird thing. It's because I know this person. They know me. We just busy. Or maybe, people just don't like to talk on the phone like that. So it's just like, yo. But if I need something, if I was to say, yo, my family's destitute, I'm in a really bad position. If I call this person, they got me. They might get in their car and come drive over here. They might give me their car because they got an extra one because they value me as a person. And so if you listening to these people on social media telling you, oh, they ain't called you in 2 weeks, they're not really your friend, you need to cut them off. You need to evaluate your own friendships and decide what's really what.
Truth is, friendships are subjective and everyone is different. There are some people you will talk to every day, right? Every other day or whatever. There are some people, but then there are also some people that you won't talk to. My best friend in high school was my man, Richard Queen. And like, we hung out all the time. Like when I was home, we hung out all the time. That's what we did. Now time has moved on. Things have changed and we don't talk nowhere near as much as what we used to. We talk, a few times a year, but when we do, still my dude.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, they're still my dude. And I believe I'm still his dude. And, and that's that. He's happy for me. I'm happy for him. And that's that. If he needed anything, I'd be right there. I'm sure if I needed anything, he'd be right there. And so every friendship it doesn't have to fit the same mold
as another friend. Yeah.
As another friend. You know what I mean? That's why you have multiples. You know what I mean? Because again, you're going to have some people who you're going to talk to consistently. You're going to have some people you're not. But at the end of the day, if they all can be considered a friend, it's because they will be there for you when you need them. When and if you need them for whatever it is that you need them for, they will be there for you.
Right. And you'll also be there for them. Hopefully for them. You're not just a user,
which you got them out there though. You definitely got them out there. But now to the big question that I wanted to talk about, which is, we already asked the question of, can there be male and female platonic friendships? Now, this is a 2-part question, which is, if you're tuning in right now to what I'm saying, listen and comment at the bottom, because we want to hear what y'all got to say on this.
For sure.
If you're married, does your spouse have to be your best friend? Should they be your best friend? And if you answer, depending on what your answer is to those questions, then can opposite sex people be best friends with people they're not married to?
This dude with the 3-part, multi-part question.
It's going down. It's going down.
Okay, so let's just do the first question. Can you be married to somebody that is not your best friend? Of course you can. Should you be best friends with your spouse? Of course you should, because if you're not, they'll find another best friend and it may or may not be positive for you. Thirdly, if you married, you should not be having a best friend that is of the opposite sex.
All right.
A
Okay.
best friend. You can have friends of the opposite sex all you want, of course. We're all friends. But I think there's a certain boundary that should not be crossed. Like, for instance, I'm in here talking to you on the joint. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the show. My wife is in the other room. If I have a friend that's a female, I shouldn't be talking to her on the phone for like a super long time. That's just weird. Like, and I'm in here, just keep keying it up. Oh, you're so crazy. That was wild, right? And it's just like, I mean, maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Once you start pushing an hour, 2 hours, and this person's not related to me, this is not my cousin, it's not my aunt. This is like, I've been friends with her since high school. Why are you talking to this chick for 2 hours? About what? Why are you not talking to your wife like that? Like, how come you can't have conversation? See, because this is my friend. My wife is my wife. That's a problem, bro. And the same vice versa. The same vice versa. Let me pull up. Your wife on the phone talking to some dude for 2 hours, just kick. You so crazy. And you like, who you talking to? Like, yo. You're gonna be like, who's this you talking to?
You're gonna be hot, but let me pull a you. Let me pull a you. But I don't see anything wrong with it because we were friends before we got married.
For sure.
I've known them longer than I've known you. And that was my best friend. They were here for me through the thick and the thin when nobody else was. So now, what do you have to say to those people who might say that?
Hey, if you've been friends with them, I'm not telling nobody to cut off your friendships. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. That is perfectly fine. But the minute your friendship infringes upon my relationship with you, we got a problem. Like, I shouldn't be wondering why you talking to this person of the opposite sex for mad long. That doesn't make me insecure. That makes me like, what's going on? Like, that's just a normal thing. People love to be like, oh, you insecure. You should know that I would never do nothing and this and that. And I'm just like, then you don't know how life works. First of all, if you really good friends with anybody, it's easier to be intimate with them because you're really, really good friends. Yep. So obviously, I think it goes without saying, you shouldn't be going on dates with them. And you might say, obviously, I wouldn't go on a date with somebody else. I'm married. But what do you call it when you're supposed to go out with one of your guy friends and one of your female friends, and then the guy says, I can't make it tonight? You still going out with the female friend to dinner, to go to the movies and, you know what I'm saying, do whatever? Without your wife or without your spouse? Of course. Word? And so are they friends with your spouse too, or are they just friends with you? I mean, that's another thing that like comes into play. I think it's cool if you're friends with both of us, right? If you only friends with me, something's wrong. Like, yo, here's a really good example. I had a friend, right? He was married to some woman, right? Him and the woman broke up. I still knew the lady. We still had each other's phone numbers or whatever. The lady calls me and says, hey, can you pray for me? Because your friend, you know what I'm saying, we broke up. He doing this and doing that. Can we just pray about whatever, da-da-da? So I'm praying with this lady, like, yo, probably for like 15 or 20 minutes. Like, yo, let's pray. Because in my mind, let's pray. I don't care, whatever. I got off the phone. And my wife is like, yo, who was you talking to? I was like, I was talking to, you know, so-and-so's ex-wife or, you know what I'm saying, whatever. She said she wanted to pray, blah, blah, blah. And she said, nah, something's not right. And I'm thinking like, what's not right about praying for somebody? You know what I'm saying? She's like, if she call again, tell her that I'll pray with her. And I said, okay, bet. That's cool. I don't care because I'm not trying to get with her. Like, I'm trying to pray for her. So whatever. She calls again, like the next week or something like that. Hey, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Can we pray again? I say, yo, what would probably be better is if you pray with my wife, because she a woman. She could probably identify more with like what you were dealing with anyway. So I tell you what, I'm gonna go get her. Oh, you know what? I gotta go. Hangs up the phone. So I told her, I said, yo, I told her you could pray with her, whatever. And then she had to go. She says, I know. Cause she's not talking to you for prayer. She wants to talk to you. And I was like, at first I was kind of like, well, I mean, there was a baby crying in the back. Like maybe she just had to go take care of her kid or whatever. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She calls again. I just do the same thing again. I was like, yo, it was always prayer. So I was just like, so I'm like, yo, okay. Well, she was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Can we pray, whatever? I said, yeah, hang on. I'm gonna go get my wife real quick so she can pray with you. This time I didn't even play games. I just was like, I just said, hang on for 1 minute. My wife come pray with you. Came back to the phone. She's gone. She never called again after that. And it's just like, if you can't be friends with me, like, yo, it's me and my wife. It's not me, my wife, and then I got some other person. And it shouldn't be, it's, you know what I'm saying, you and your husband, and then you got some other dude that is basically doing the same thing your husband does as a friend and all this other stuff, taking you out, buying you stuff. That's weird, bruh. Unless they related to you, brother, cousin, father, uncle, stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, I think even if they friends with your wife and yourself, then there's a level of respect there that generally people don't even cross. Like, exactly. I got friends that's cool with my wife. They're not calling my wife because there's no point in them calling my wife.
And it don't make sense because it looks weird. Like, why?
Right. And vice versa. I'm not calling them, like, I'm not calling their wives. Like, it's just like, we're all cool. We all know each other, but I'm not calling their wives and they're not calling my wife and vice versa. Like, you know, she's not calling them, and it's just not right. You know, it's not that way. And so
unless it's like a really quick, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling you because I'm trying to reach your husband, but he's not available. Can you tell him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah. I got you. I'll tell him.
Absolutely.
But something to just be like chopping it up for super long.
Yeah, no,
maybe a couple minutes, maybe 5 minutes. Yo, I've done this too, where I've talked to somebody and like, it's somebody that I grew up with, right? And I'm just like, I know them. So we just talking. But I looked at the clock and after about 10 minutes, I just was like, I need to get off the phone. You know what I'm saying? Just because like, I don't want my wife to think nothing. I don't want her to think nothing.
Absolutely.
Like, it's been a few minutes. We done caught up, but it's, you know what I'm saying? We married now.
Right.
The rules of engagement have changed now. Like, I just can't make myself available to people of the opposite sex just because, like, nah, that's not cool anymore.
And that's what I'm saying, man.
Then you doing that to your own detriment. And I would say, beware. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think it's possible because anything is possible, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
And I think that there should be a clear line drawn there. And if your spouse isn't your best friend, then I think the energy that you're focusing and putting into someone of the opposite sex being your best friend,
thank you.
You could put that into getting to know your wife or your husband
and make
in that same light
way better.
Yeah, exactly. You can put that same effort into getting to know your spouse and making your relationship a lot better. And because you I would say, need a friendship, if not a best friendship in a marriage for it to work, because that is the sustaining thing. When you got the aggravating times that, they're getting on your nerves or whatever, then it's that friendship that causes you to come back. So it's a vital aspect of a marriage. And it's one that if you're not careful, that like in your scenario, the devil will try to use to come in the back door or whatever. So you really got to be careful with that, Jay. Seriously.
Absolutely. And also too, like you said, if you're friends with your spouse, that will draw you together. Like, this is my friend. I don't want to hurt their feelings. Even though our romantic relationship might be broken or hurt, this is my friend. So I care about them. Even if they don't like me as a romantic partner right now, I want to make sure they good. I want to make sure that they okay. I want to make sure that everything is good with them. Imagine if your best friend is outside of the relationship. Well, when you got a romantic issue with your partner, now the energy's brought outward. Oh man, she messed up. Let me turn around and go over here.
Yep.
And now you building up another relationship over here. And while you thinking, oh, this ain't nothing, I'm not even attracted to them anyway, because it's just whatever, and da-da-da-da-da-da, the more energy you spend over there, the more attractive they will become, because they're available to you, they're talking to you, they're comforting you, they're doing everything that your spouse is not doing, possibly because you haven't even given them the chance, because you're too busy over here. One last thing I want to talk about before we bounce out is ghosting people. This is the thing. I just gotta say, grow up, yo. Like, if I'm talking to you and you have no desire to continue the relationship, be it business, be it a friendship, be it a romantic situation, be an adult and say, I'm no longer interested in this relationship, whatever it is. It's just stupid to me that you would just ignore somebody without having good cause. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I guess if you're being harassed or something like that, it's like, yo, I told you no 900 times. I'm ghosting. Well, I mean, technically that's not ghosting. I told you no 900 times. It's no. But like, if the last thing we said to each other was mad cordial and dope, and we said we was about to get up on Saturday, then you just disappear off the face of the earth. Now all of a sudden I'm blocked from all the social media. You don't pick up my calls. You don't answer my texts. And I'm over here wondering, like, did I offend you some kind of?
Pardon the interruption, but if you like what you saw so far,
make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell their mama to tune in right now. This is your chance. Right now. Hit the bell. Right now.
back to the show.
Did I offend you some kind of way? Like, what's going on? Be an adult, man, and just say, I'm just not feeling this. I got other stuff to do. That's my 2 cents on ghosting.
MySpace mentality. You know what I mean? MySpace mentality. MySpace mentality, but yeah, if you're an adult, no need to ghost nobody. Just keep it real with them. And back to what I was going to say. If you're of the opposite sex and you're having problems in your marriage and you're bringing that to the opposite sex, then you're just giving them ammunition to be able to get at you when you're vulnerable. And that right there is something that happens to a lot of people. It's what causes divorces, soul ties, or what do they call it now? Entanglements. Causes entanglements and, you know what I mean, everything like that. And somebody that was a real friend would tell somebody that came to them with that, like, nah, I think you need to just bring that back to your house, your spouse, and, you know, work it out with them. Everything will be all right. So if you don't got that, and whatever, if you're watching this and you don't have that, then that's not a real friend. That is not a real friend. And I think that's the perfect place to end. That's not your friend.
Well, I'm gonna add another thing. If you if you got a friend and you tell them, yo, me and my spouse is into it, it's crazy, what should I do? And their response is, why don't you come to my house?
Ooh.
No.
Not at all.
That's not a good idea. Like, yo, that's like the song I had that's like the song I had on my album. You know what I'm saying? Called Dirty Secrets. Where like, now me and my wife is struggling and going through a difficult time. I'll go to work. I'm talking to this chick. It started off as me trying to witness to her. I made the mistake of telling her that me and my wife was having a little whatever. And then that's when she got super interested. Oh, you guys are having trouble? Whoa. well, I don't live too far away. I'm just like, I didn't ask you that. I have no interest in that. A real friend would be like, you need to go work that out. Don't even look at me, because I'm not here for that. I'm here to encourage you to be a godly person. Get with your spouse and do what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely. And that is a real friend. And, I pray that anybody watching, you may have heard something that if you don't have a real friend, you can, after this episode, find yourself moving away from those who you thought were your real friends. And that's that. And if nothing else, Jesus, if you got him, he's everybody's friend.
Okay. Now you done sparked it back up. Now we got to open it back up again. Yeah, let's open the book back up. So, okay, you can't be like, listen, you got nobody else. You got Jesus. That's like the Jesus is my boyfriend husband line. Like, nah, he's not. He's really not your husband. He's not your boyfriend. That's not what he's here for. But
he can be your friend though. Jesus can be your friend. He can.
Jesus can be your friend.
Yes, Jesus can be your friend.
This is 100% true. But because he's not physically here, and we do have prayer. You can talk to Jesus whenever you want to talk to him. Typically, often, more times than not, he's not talking back to you in the same audible voice that you're talking to him. And so it's nice to be able to call somebody on the phone after you get done praying, or, after you had your time with the Lord, so that you can actually look in somebody's face and see that they understand what's happening. This is a great thing to talk about. Jesus is obviously your friend, but it's like he's not meant to be your only friend.
I'm not suggesting that.
Like he created people so that we can build relationships with people, and we should also have a relationship with him too. But it's like a different kind of friendship. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's important that you definitely build relationships with the other people that God created. There's somebody that has similar interests as you, that can build you up, that can encourage you, and both of you can worship the Lord together, whether male or female, and really, really kind of grow that way. But if your only friend is Jesus, and that's always your only friend, you really should be looking to try to make some new friends. I don't think Jesus wants to be your only friend. I mean, you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think Jesus wants to be anybody's only friend. But if you get in a position, sometimes we find ourselves in positions where it seems like everybody who we thought was our friend, we come to realize they're not. And sometimes and sometimes it's God who's the one who exposes the fact that they're not. Amen. So you can literally, in that point in time, know that if you have no one else, you have Jesus. He's always there to be your friend. I definitely wouldn't suggest. I can
attest to that for sure.
Yeah, me too. And that's what I'm saying. So I wouldn't suggest that anybody just be like, somebody's trying to be your friend and you're like, no, I got Jesus. Like, I'm not like, I would never say that. Like,
I'm already married. I'm married to Jesus.
I would never say that.
I already got a man.
Right. I would never say that. The funny thing is, I know somebody like that, so I ain't gonna go into that story. I'm not gonna go into that story. I literally know somebody like that. But what? No, I'm just saying, if you find that, once again, and you're in that scenario where it feels like everybody left you or turned your back on you, or it's your season where God wanted you to be alone so he could pour into you or whatever, then you know that you, at least, if you got nothing else, Jesus, you got Jesus. He'll always be your friend.
Absolutely. So, to make a long story short, friendships are important. God wants us to have friendships. They should build you up, not tear you down. If you married, make your spouse your friend. And And Jesus is always your friend when you're in different seasons of difficulty and you're in between physical friends. Jesus is always there. When you got your physical friend, Jesus is always there. But for the most part, friendships is important. And that's all I got to say about
it. And lastly, if somebody doesn't want to be your best friend and move the relationship further, it doesn't necessarily mean you're ugly.
Oh, and second last to lastly, if somebody doesn't want to call you back in 2 weeks, that doesn't mean that you cut them off and never talk to them again. Okay?
Right.
Give them a little bit of space. Maybe they need more time. Hit them up. Yo, this is my rule. This is my rule, right? If I meet somebody new, we become friends. I'll call you one day and I'll wait. See if you call me back. No call back? Cool. They're probably busy. I'll call you again. See if they call back. If I get to the third time and this person's never calling me back, then I fall way back. Like, you know what? Maybe I'm bothering them. I don't want to bother nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a nuisance to anyone. So I fall way back. Similar to the guy that's, that was in your messages. You gave the one word answer. That's, you got to be able to pick up on the cues, man. Like somebody giving you one word answers, if they just looking at you while you talk for like 15 minutes and all they do is go, that's crazy. That means they're not listening to you, man. Like they don't really care about what you got to say.
Absolutely.
Now I'm done. It was great. Yo. It was grand. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You was about to say something?
Thank y'all for tuning in to the Wisdom and Opinion Show. We out.